All right, so many of you have asked me to do a video on profitability. Well, here you go, I've put it together. So 11,000 miles running at $1.85 per mile versus 11,000 miles running at 2.05 per mile. What is left over? What's the bottom line? So we'll go into expenses, we'll go into monthly expenses for those owner operators that are running their own fleets, for those owner operators working under bigger carriers, and for those company drivers that are thinking to become owner operators. This video is great information for you, because if you ever thought about opening up your own authorities, well, you can do the number crunching right now once you have this data. All right, so scenario number one, here we go, my Excel sheets that I've run. So we have somebody working in the van division running 11,000 miles at $1.85 per mile. So gross earnings at $20,350. If you're running your own authorities, you're obviously paying for parking. The average here for parking right now in the GTA is probably around $600-700 a month. I think that, a national average is good to say in Atlanta, Georgia is probably around $300 a month, but I took $350 over here. ELDs, I really think that you can get them for $75. Factoring, so I took 3% factoring, because if you're running your own company and you have your own authorities, I highly recommend that you factor your invoices, because I don't recommend anybody that's, a small fleet or 1, 2, or even 3 trucks to hold on to their receivables, because the amount of time it's going to take you to collect these invoices, it's not worth the $600 that you're going to pay in factoring fees. I took 3%. You can find a little cheaper, and there are some companies that are a lot more expensive, but factoring fees we'll put here at 3%. Load board is probably going to cost you, that one today is going to cost you around $100. Your phone bill for your cell phone bill is about $75 per month. Dispatch fees. So this is becoming very, very popular, where companies or owner operators are kind of getting their own authorities and they're finding a third party to dispatch them. Is it beneficial? Absolutely, because if you're an owner operator, you're driving your truck, you don't have the time to look for your own load. So yes, I do recommend going with a dispatch fee. If you can find your own loads, then obviously you'll save this amount, but we'll put it over here. Now, your fuel. So if you're running your truck at 7.5 miles per gallon, then you will pay $52.80 for fuel. If your fuel consumption is lower, so if you're running at 6 miles per gallon, 6.5 miles per gallon, expect a much higher fuel bill at the end of the month. Now, your tolls and bridges, I took $400 over here, because I feel like that would be the medium range. Obviously, if you're servicing the East Coast, your toll bills are going to be higher. If you're doing the Midwest USA, you could probably get away to even lower. Now, insurance, very important. Your insurance is going to cost you, if you're a new fleet owner, it's going to cost you about $2,000 to $3,000. I think that if you take the time, and if you're not pressured with time, you should be able to get about $2,400 a month for a brand new fleet. This number will come down in year 2 and year 3, probably around the $1,500, maybe $1,400 a month. A registration for plates is going to cost you about $166. Approximately, it's about $2,000 a year. Truck financing is a huge one, guys. Make sure you are doing you're financing your truck, and also your trailer financing. I put here your truck financing at $3,200 a month, and your trailer financing at $1,150. Now, very, very important, guys, for the audience over here, what I have done is I've created a link, so I will post it down below. If you click this link here, it's a commercial equipment financing. If you want to know, or if you're thinking of getting financing, this payment calculator is really going to help you out. You can play around with it. I've really done this for the audience, because if your loan amount, let's say you're financing a truck for $120,000, your interest rate is 9%, and your term loan is 48 months. All you got to do is press calculate, and it will calculate the payments for you. So here in this scenario, if you're financing $120,000, 9% interest for 48 months, it's going to cost you $29.86 per month. Now, another thing that I put here to highlight is the total interest paid. $23,337 is your total interest paid on this deal. Now, if you want to play around with the interest, let's say you were to get 11% interest, then you would pay $3,100. If you shorten the duration from 48 months to 45 months, then your payments will obviously be higher. I don't recommend the payment being over $3,200 per month. I feel like that's the max that you should probably go into, especially now it's tough. It's very hard out there with the freight rates being so low. So also your loan amount, guys, play around with the loan amount. 120, if you were to put a bigger deposit, of $110,000, if you were to put a bigger down payment and only finance $110,000, your payments will obviously come down. Now, make sure you're testing out your broker. If a broker tells you they're getting 8%, make sure you're testing out that 8% with this calculator, okay? If your interest rates are 8% or 7%, obviously your payments are a lot lower. Now, if you need help with commercial financing, if you scroll all the way down, I've gotten 5 or 6 different companies here to compete for your business. So if you fill out this form over here, it'll take you 30 seconds to do your first name, your last name, name, your phone number, your email address, country, equipment that you're looking to finance, and approximate credit rating. These finance companies will reach out to you and they will fight for your business, and that's the way we want to keep it. All right, so play around with this calculator, see what you could afford, what you can't afford, and now let's go back into that Excel sheet. All right, so the truck financing and the trailer financing is extremely important. There's a huge difference between 12% interest and a 10% interest, so make sure you are using that link. Now, what's left over at the end of the month? So if you're grossing, if you're driving 11,000 miles and you're doing $1.85 per mile, now we will get to what happens if you're running at 2.05 per mile, which is the national average. But right now we're doing 11,000 miles at $1.85 per mile, and what's left over at the end of the month is $57.28. Yes, that is correct. That's $5,728. Now, I didn't take all of the monthly expenses. There are going to be a couple of more monthly expenses over here, and your biggest one is repairs, maintenance, and oil changes. It's going to be a huge one. So is it worth to run at $1.85? If you ask me, it's not worth the headache. Absolutely not. I would get a company to dispatch me, pay them the 25%, and then I won't have the ELD fee, the factoring fee, the load board fee, the dispatch fee. I would not have, most of the times the registration is included, and you would not need a trailer. Okay, so the company that, like for example, our pay package in Atlanta, Georgia, your trailer is included. There is a 25% fee, but you won't pay for half of these. Also, your insurance is included in the package in our Atlanta, Georgia terminal. Now, if we were to do the exact same thing running at 2.05, taking the exact same expenses at 2.05, you would gross out $22,550 with the exact same expenses. I won't go through them again, but literally we took the exact same expenses as we did at the $1.85 mark. Now we're left over with $7,774. At what point do I think it's worth it? Okay, if we look at the national average over here, and I can link this below. So in June, the national average for the van reefer division is 2.09. In May, it was 2.07. That's why I took 2.05. But for the flatbed division, it's 2.65. You can see it over here. And in the reefer division, it's 2.48. So at what point do I think that it's worth it? So if you're taking 11,000 miles and today you can find a job as a company driver getting paid 65 cents per mile. Okay, so let's go to my calculator over here. So if you're getting 65 cents per mile riding 11,000 miles, your pay as a driver is going to be $71.50. I would not recommend to go into being an owner operator or running your own authorities until those rates climb up to about $240, $245 per mile. When the rates are $245 per mile, $250 per mile, then it is worth it to become an owner operator, have your own authorities, have that whole extra headache, because then you're not making $71.50 per month. You're probably making closer to about $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 a month. And at that point, it is worth it to take the headache on yourself, to have your own authorities, and to open up your own trucking company. A lot of people have that dream to open up a trucking company. You just got to wait for the right time to pull that trigger. So if I was wanting to become an owner operator with my own authorities, I would hold off on it just because 2.05, you are not so profitable, especially when you have your truck financing, your trailer financing, and all these expenses. Now, again, guys, these numbers will come out a little bit lower if you are running at 6.5, 6.7 miles per gallon. A lot of people are running at 7 miles per gallon. Our trucks are doing 8, 8.5, and 9. I took the 7.5 miles per gallon number, but I feel like you should be running these scenarios. I feel like if you are thinking of opening up your own little trucking company or becoming an owner operator with your own authorities, you should be playing around with these numbers and then pull the trigger once you're okay with that number. All right, guys, so there you have it. You know the difference and how profitable you're going to be, the difference between running $1.85 per mile versus running 2.05 per mile. Now, I will create more scenarios like this based on your comments down below. So leave a comment down below. What do you think of my analytics? And is it time to become a owner operator with your own authorities? I don't know. Only you can decide that. I'm Ronen, Ronen, and I'll catch you in my next video.